anyone who wants to get into this industry, like if you're a young new designer who wants to get into the healthcare, like they like the idea of being able to affect positively so many patients. What's your advice for them? Like, how do they best prepare for and try to get into this industry?
Yeah, so look out for that's typical as a designer, right? You want to look out for your user, you have empathy, and don't have assumption. A lot of time we go in and say, hey, I can relate to these people, but actually you can't. You actually have to try and live like that for a while, and you see all the nuance and things like that that just came out. So don't take any assumption about any disease at all. Even something like, we talk about like taking one pill in the morning, it could be way more difficult than you think.
Yeah.
And then also the other thing is to look at everything as a whole, right? Take responsibility. So for example, if you're gonna be making like a dose alarm, right? You have to, instead of just like, hey, just do a dose alarm, right? Just do some like alarm clock. No, you have to think about what if the time zone change? What if they forgot? What if they don't have internet connection? What if they have this? What if they have that? Because at the end of the day, all your decision making into this design can impact somebody's life.
Right.
Right.
The stakes
For
are
the
very
better or for
high
worse.
to get it wrong. So they have to be very thoughtful in their design, like the what if scenario, and they have to kind of be very thorough about that.
Yep. So yeah, and every single detail you have to serve the purpose, because otherwise, you go to the authority, they say they might overlook it, but they sometimes they would ask and say, why you have this one, right? Is it enhancing it? Do we need it? Does that in leading to risk?
Yeah.
Right. So that at one point we have like a little animation, kind of like showing the number, swinging back and forth. Hey, your blood glucose is this. I just go 100, 200, 112, and things, and they kind of like go up or down, a little bit more fun, a little delight. What happened is people actually read that and see the first number, and they thought that was a number. They close it out.
Right. People don't even take the time. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's kind of like that Academy Awards thing, the way they designed. I don't know if you remember that. Right?
Oh yeah,
like
that
the way
one.
they designed. Oh. Yeah. Design can really have an impact. On how people, on comprehension, and so you have to do it right.
Yep, you have to do it right. You have to think through everything, and then at that you will find the way. And they have to collaborate a lot. So it's not just you an engineer, and then they're like PMs anymore. You're gonna have to relate to the stakeholders who are lawyers, who are regulators. If you work with the FDA, and then you come in and you make basically a lot of documentation. Yeah. So that's the other thing that you have to prepare for. It's a lot of documentation, because if you want to make sure that you have done your due diligence.
Yeah.
That you have thought through all of this and be able to present it to the authority.
Yeah.
But I know it sounds like a really really cumbersome, but at the end of the day, once you get this thing done and complete, and then you see the delight in the face of the patient that you presented it to, right? And they try to see that, they see the light in their eyes, somebody actually tried to speak to me and think about me.
Yeah.
And that was the feeling I would not replace for anything.
Right. Yeah, that's I can only imagine. It must be an amazing feeling. But I'm also thinking, because designing in healthcare is so hard, that once you do this, everything else is easy. Is that a feel that way?
It's a little different, then you tried, so I'm at Lululemon now, so that's totally different, almost opposite end.
It's just a different beast. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different beast. They have different needs and things, different thinking. But what I have learned in that process actually made me a lot better designer.
Yeah.
Right, because I learned how to think through everything, all the use cases and everything.
Right.
And then yes. And then I apply those in the different situation. But you pick and choose your battle. Now it's nobody's gonna die from using this app, so I can.
They're just not gonna buy. Right, they're just gonna abandon the cart. Okay,
that's totally fine, right? So that's something to be, it's just making a lot easier. Better designers just kind of start thinking through this would help you much easier in your career. I can guarantee that.
Yeah. Are there any great examples of healthcare apps that you think have really good design?
Oh yes, so the one is it's Dexcom G6. So not the app itself, but it's actually the app that they actually use to monitor your loved one blood sugar,
Okay.
right? Right. So that one, because they actually using is not high risk anymore. So they be able to iterate and making things faster. But what it does is like they're looking not just say, hey, this is the receptor of the blood sugar that come out from the body, but they're looking at the surroundings, circle
Hmm.
of care, right?
Okay.
It's not just for you, but you're looking outside of beyond just the patient themselves and say like, there's a caretaker, there's a son, there's a daughter of parents who actually want to see what their loved one is doing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're building that app, make it look really nice, right? It has an alert. This is
I'll
really,
have to
really
check it
good.
out.